Welcome to Business Incorporated with me, Bosin Omofaye. And coming up on the program this afternoon, MTN Nigeria is engaging the Central Bank of Nigeria with the other four banks to resolve the $8.13 billion FX repatriation crisis. Meantime, Togo's GDP is expected to hit 5.1% growth next year. And Zimbabwe's budget deficit is now around $1.3 billion the first half of 2018. Let's start with the intraday numbers from the Nigerian market here, where the stock market's a little bit in the water. This Friday, the main index of the Nigerian Stock Exchange was 0.06% negative. The South African GSE Group All-Share Index was almost 1% in the negative territory. Also, about lunchtime, the Egyptian market sank 1.46% on Thursday to 14,104. The Kenyan market closed Thursday positive 0.75%. In the Middle East, the markets are closed for the week today, of course, but on Thursday, the Abu Dhabi index inched up a margin of 0.1% to end the week, still holding the 5,000 psychological level. The Dubai's real estate stocks continued to drag down the main index, which finished the week 0.8% lower, third straight session of losses. The Qatari index was positive 0.13%, and the Saudi index a little bit lower, 0.1%, as most of the listed banks finished the week on a sluggish level. So the European markets are open mixed on Friday morning. Investors are waiting a key job report from the U.S., what you call the non-farm payroll, even as the U.S. Treasury yields surged to a fresh 7-year high. Let's check out more on what has been a very interesting and nerve-wrenching week on the European side. Paul Christian Brice is of DWTV 4 Channels Television and live at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. First, Paul, what is this celebration about tomorrow with the bulls at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange? Is there anything going on with the bulls down there at the DAX?
Yes, actually, tomorrow marks the 30th birthday of the bull and the bear statues. There are these huge bronze statues just outside of the stock exchange. They were made for the 400th anniversary of the stock exchange here in Frankfurt. And the bull and the bear, of course, are the symbols of the market, of the ups and downs. Why? Because if you look at their fighting technique, the bear, would kind of make this downward movement, whereas the bull would attack with its head going up. So these are the two symbols, and they're going to be celebrated here tomorrow.
Okay. You folks have some nice time tomorrow. We'll catch up together next week when we'll get a bit of a report of that, and perhaps maybe you guys have some footage for us. Meantime, it's been, let's check with the aviation sector in the European skies. What's the aviation industry and politicians coming together to discuss in the city of Hamburg today? How do they want to fix the problems with some of the big airlines?
Yeah, there's been a lot of problems this summer for aviation. There's been a lot of delays here in Europe, a lot of cancellation of flights, mostly due to walkouts and strike action. But there's also been security issues at airports, and of course, rising oil and kerosene prices are pressuring airline companies. So lots of difficulties here, some of which they're not going to be able to fix because they won't be able to influence the oil price. But overall, organizational and structural changes are what they're looking for. There's also been a lot of consolidation in the market, so trying to get that reorganized and back on track. However, there's more, or there might be more bad news. As a report came out, the German government is looking to take more short-haul flights within the country and within Europe and put them on the rails. So that's particularly bad news for Ryanair, which operates a lot of these flights and has already been suffering. Just a few days ago, it gave out a profit warning. The stock slumped. It has lost about 30% this year in total, as the company is trying to keep making money, squeezing costs, which it has historically been very good at, but recently not so much. And of course, Ryanair is also suffering from the rising oil prices that are affecting other major players such as Lufthansa, Air France, KLM. They're all sort of, down in the dumps with these oil prices so high.
Okay, Paul, it's been a very nerve-wracking week, and we all can use some weekend breather and get our lives back a little bit from Italy to Turkey and everything else in between. So give us 1 minute of what you consider to be the top stories, the big stories for us this week as we wrap up the market week.
Well, certainly today traders are looking at the U.S. numbers, the U.S. jobs report after numbers that came out on Wednesday triggered this bond sell-off that then swapped over to equities, and lots of people got rid of their shares. So there's a worry that that might happen again today, of course. Then Italy, as you mentioned, it's been up and down, really. The latest figures showing that Italy might not be able to sustain its deficit. GDP growth doesn't look so good, so a growing concern here about this problem. Also, we see again Tesla and its CEO Elon Musk getting in trouble with the SEC. He's tweeted calling the SEC the short enrichment commission,
yes.
Basically blaming them for providing fodder for short sellers.
Paul, that was Elon Musk wants to have the last laugh. He wants to have the last say, as it were. And when I saw that tweet, and we just put it back up, and I said, oh my God, he's not going to give up, really, will he? But again, you don't give up if you have hundreds of billions in your kitty. But again, we show the STC.
Can work without him.
Okay. Let's have some nice time. Enjoy your weekend, Paul, Christian Breeze in Frankfurt. See you some other time. Thank you very much. On behalf of Channels Television of DWTV from the Frankfurt Stock Exchange.